some of them are, you know, it's a model, and so you got to kind of bear with it. It's falling apart, it's old, so just trust me on some things when I tell you.
Just don't mind me.
But, so number 1, pericardium. Has anyone found out what pericardium is?
It's the
membrane sac. I mean the double-layered sac that surrounds.
Yeah, so it's like a tissue, a sac that kind of covers the entire heart. It's not here on any of the models. It isn't here on the sheep's heart either, but just know what it is. And think about, why would you need like a tissue or a sac, you know, a fluid sac covering the heart? Why would you need this? Yeah, so it's got multiple functions. It protects the heart. So if you think about the heart's always beating, there's going to be a lot of friction. We don't want the walls of our heart, you know, having friction against other organs in our body, or else that'd be really bad. So it protects it. It also cushions it. It also provides, you know, these fluids have nutrients and stuff that, you know, help the tissues underneath. So cool, that's the posterior interventricular sulcus. So that's like a nightmare term, right? But if you start breaking it down, it's really not too bad. So anterior means front, right? And then we learned sulcus a couple of weeks ago. Remember sulci gyri? Sulci, you sulk in the valleys. So sulcus is, once again, a valley. So we already know that it's some sort of valley that's in the front. Interventricular means it's running between the ventricles. Interventricular. So we already know it's something that's on the front, it's a valley, and it's going in between the ventricles. So interventricular sulcus is like this valley that runs down the front of the heart in between the left and the right sides. And so on this model, it doesn't really exactly show it looking like a valley. If I actually were to flip the heart, see this, and this is if, you know, it's facing you, this is taken right out, bloop, you can see this anterior interventricular sulcus. It actually is this kind of ridge that runs down the front side of the heart. And it looks like its side looks bigger also, since this sulcus is telling you where left and right is. Does that make sense? Anterior interventricular sulcus. So I could pin it on the sheep also. I think it's actually easier seen on the sheep heart than the models. So then number 3, interventricular artery and the cardiac vein. Those are referring to these veins and arteries that run down the middle of the anterior ventricular sulcus. So it's represented as red and blue arteries and veins in this model. In other models, it may be different colors. But they're these 2 main arteries and veins that run down this anterior interventricular sulcus. Veins and arteries on the surface of the heart. Doesn't the heart have blood in it already? So what is it doing? So these arteries and veins actually are providing the blood for the heart muscles. So inside the heart, true, there's a bunch of blood, but it's going elsewhere. It's going out of there. And so these arteries and veins actually are very specific for providing blood to the heart muscles, because the heart's always working. It needs to be replenished. So now we're moving to the chambers of the heart. So right atrium, and this is where, once again, you have to be careful. Oh, you have to be careful that there's not a rooster in the class. When you're looking at these models, often you flip them around to look at them. And you could say, oh, this is my right side, so this must be the right side. And you got to pretend like it's, you know, this heart is facing, you know, the correct direction. So when you look at it now, everything